Okay, hello everyone. Part 2 of Developer Diary number 3 about trade and economics. Europa Universalis 5, of course. We are back to the Developer Diary and we will focus today on markets. So, let's start reading. But by the way, that's pretty impressive as well. Especially that I know that these markets are dynamic, which is quite crazy. Okay, but without further ado, Europa Universalis 5 is the first title of the series with dynamic flow of goods between ever-changing markets. Markets expand and retract based on their market attraction. Goods flow dynamically from market to market depending on trade range, and trade being done by nations with trade capacity in those markets. Huge. So here we have the example of market map mode in 1337, so the very beginning of the game. And then we have market map modes in 1798, so almost the end of the game. Can you guess which nation was being played in this run? No, I don't know. So look at that. Look at the difference. That's crazy. Basically, Paris looks the same. Nuremberg is very similar. Lubeck as well. Praha, which is Prague, I believe, is non-existent anymore. Almost. I think there's something over there, but it's not Prague though. So uh, Krakow expanded drastically. Kiev as well. We have Riga. Moscow is a little bit larger. What else we can see here? There is no Constantinopolis anymore. We have Birgi, whatever it means. Iskilip, Damascus, Baghdad, Tbilisi, Naples, Tunis. Okay, let me take a look. Yeah, Naples is slightly bigger. There is no Venice though. There's Aquileia. All right. Milan, Marseille, Barcelona, Burgos, Sevilla, blah blah blah. Yeah, there are some differences, of course, but we can see definitely that it's evolving over time. Cool. Uh, by the way, it's interesting. It's called Kingston and Bangor instead of London and Dublin. All right. Simply put, a market is where goods are brought and sold. Are bought and sold, not brought. Brought as well, but are bought and sold. Each market is anchored by a market center located in a specific location, but its reach extends to other locations based on the market attraction and market protectionism of the market owner. The market owner is the nation that owns the market center, though ownership does not guarantee dominance. Weaker market owners can be outmaneuvered and dwarfed, and stronger rivals can often dictate the flow of trade. Alright, that already seems quite complex, to be fair. Here we have Genoa market. We have greatest surplus, market balance. So we have some goods over there. Greatest needs. Laquevel, Laquevel, Laquevel. Okay, tea, saffron, cloves, pepper. And here we have most powerful merchants. Signora of Ferrara, Papal States, Signora Verona, Prince Bishopric of Aquileia. Jesus, it's a tongue breaker. Superb Republic of Genoa. Fair enough. And what we have here? Food stockpile as well. Market value. Okay, doesn't say more. A breakdown of the Genoa market mid-campaign, late 1500s. Genoa is struggling to maintain control over their own market. That's correct. Oh yeah, definitely. Trade advantage. Look at that. Signora of Ferrara. That's 4 times of Superb Republic of Genoa. Fair enough. Let's continue reading. Every market assigns a unique price to each good, anchored in the selling price set at the market center. This price is dictated by the balance of supply and demand. Scarce goods under high demand can climb to as much as 500% of their base cost, while oversupplied goods with little demand may fall to 90% of their base cost. Over time, prices adjust toward a target price, the predicted value based on shift in supply and demand within that market. Because no two markets are identical, the same goods can vary vastly different values across regions. Can carry vastly different values across regions. All right, so the price of a certain good in one market can be different in the other market, which is totally fine. It's very cool in theory. Uh, you can, well, the markets are basically the living thing now, which makes the game even more interesting. So you have fish in Constantinopolis. Current price is 0.22 ducats. Recent market price 5. Okay. Here we have some basic data, and we have Chile and Constantinopolis 24.6 current price, recent market price, and this is the balance, I guess, that blue line, right? A huge difference between the price of fish and the price of chili. Actually, it's maybe it's not. I don't know. Market owners are not limited to their immediate sphere of influence. They can project their market outward, competing directly with rivals in what amounts to trade wars. At the heart of these struggles are two opposing forces. Market attraction, which measures how strongly a market center can pull nearby locations into its orbit. Market protection, which shields locations from being absorbed into competing markets. When two markets collide, attraction and protection are set against each other in a tug of war. The outcome decides which market ultimately claims control over contested locations, redrawing the boundaries of economic influence. If neglected, a market can quickly be overshadowed or absorbed by a competing market, diminishing its size and reach. And my main question now is how fast it happens. So I can imagine we have certain locations, right? And these locations wants to be part of certain markets. And now, how easy it is to... Oh, wait a second. Is it about locations or just the market as its own? Market owners are not limited to their immediate sphere of influence. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Market attraction, which measures how strongly a market center can pull nearby locations. Okay, so we are talking about locations. So yeah, the question still is the same. How quickly certain markets can pull in nearby locations to their own orbit? Like, does it take, I don't know, year, 2, 3, or maybe it depends on some other factors? So it can be either 5 or it can be even a month. Um, I'm really curious how it works, because I can imagine a situation when certain markets just disappear and all of the locations are pulled into neighboring markets because there is no market protection whatsoever. So yeah, I'm genuinely curious about that. Let's see. The Vijayanagar market is dominating its neighboring markets of Koshikode and Paschaverkado. Oh my god. 1493, okay. From the Age of Reformation onward, market influence gains a new layer of complexity through mercantilism versus free trade values. Oh my lord. They've added another layer of complexity? Wow. Moving towards mercantilism strengthens market protection but reduces trade efficiency, while moving towards free trade enhances trade efficiency at the expense of trade protection. The balance between these approaches shifts from campaign to campaign, shaping not just your economy, but the way your entire game unfolds in Europa Universalis 5. Well, definitely that's gonna be a question. So, I believe it highly depends on how you play. That's gonna also depend highly on what nation you play, what you are focused on, because I can imagine that your potential enemies can kill you just by using the markets. It's certainly possible. If they kill your economy, you don't stand any chance, especially later. So I mean, sounds awesome, and I hope that one of these two will not become meta. Like people even if there is something like free trade, but they will calculate everything and they will tell you, okay, guys, never use free trade. It doesn't really matter because it's not profitable enough. Go for mercantilism. It's a safer option. You know what I mean, right? So they will just calculate everything. They will test multiple approaches and they will find the only possible way of dealing with markets. And they will go for mercantilism or free trade and say, well, yeah, don't care about it. It doesn't matter. Just select that one. Yeah, I hope that this will not happen. I'm not gonna read through those statistics. It doesn't matter for me now. You might assume that consolidating everything into one large market is always the optimal strategy in Europa Universalis 5. Well, yeah, that was my thought. However, markets that cover vast areas are hindered by the market access mechanic. All right, that's another thing. Cool, really cool. Let's read what it means really in that game. The further location is from its market center, the less access it will have. That's normal. That's straightforward, which directly reduces the goods available. Makes sense. Lowers output and diminishes the local tax base. In extreme cases, a location with 0% market access will be completely cut off from the market's goods. It should be mentioned that RGO output does not get impacted by market access, unlike buildings that will. It should be mentioned that RGO, resource gathering operation, output does not get impacted by market access, unlike buildings that will. Okay, so RGOs are not affected by the markets, but the buildings will. Fair enough. So yeah, that looks like it's also very important to have every location connected with the center, which, well, this is accurate. That's how it works. If your country is not fully connected, if the roads are poor, if people cannot travel, merchants cannot travel, that's quite obvious that people far away from the center won't get certain resources, and vice versa, right? If your location produces something special, but it's not connected with the market center, trade center, there is no chance that these goods will travel there. So people will struggle getting them, and they will get angry at some point. Fortunately, there are several ways to improve access. Constructing roads, yeah, this is quite obvious. Relocating your market center, or even establishing entirely new markets can all help ensure your realm's economy remains connected and prosperous. That's another interesting aspect, creating new market, so you can do it by your own. Cool. And again, I hope that it won't happen that people will tell you, okay, you know what? Don't construct roads. It doesn't matter. It's too expensive. It's not worth it. Just create markets. It's easier. It's more economic, and that's the meta. Hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully it's well balanced, so you can use every possible tool in your toolbox. Locations with lower market access are shaded darker in the market map mode. So here we have it. Yeah, we can see that these provinces south of Pest are a little bit more darker, so we can assume that the access to the Pest marker is harder. Makes sense. What we have here? Kratovo, market in Kratovo, Pest market. I have no idea what it means. I suppose it's that market in Kratovo belongs in 46.48% to Pest market. Oh, sorry, market access of Kratovo is 46.48 due to base and transportation distance to market. Makes sense. That's quite clear now. Allocations market access can be found in the location screen showing the transportation distance to the market center. Cool. Highest market attraction as well. Pest, Constantinople, Ragusa, Naples, Caritaina. Okay. And here we have some province in Norway, market in Hamarøy, Oslo market, 0%. So market access of that location is 0% due to base, 100% minus 100% transportation distance to market. And then we have highest market attraction, only 3% for Oslo and minus 40% for Stockholm, Riga, Gladsaxe and Lübeck. The location of Hamarøy, struggles due to having zero market access to the Oslo market. Deciding whether to create new markets, dismantle old ones, or relocate existing market centers is a key strategic choice. Shifting a market center to a province with better reach, superior harbor capacity, or deeper access to inland trade routes can greatly strengthen your nation's position. So I guess there is also map mode for roads or things like harbor capacity. It's also very, very intriguing. There's something like harbor capacity. It's wow. It's another complexity. Alternatively, emerging powers may establish entirely new markets to seize control over the flow of goods, a decisive step that can form the foundation of a thriving and independent economy. Well, I believe that this option is reserved for highly advanced players who spend a lot of time dealing with trade, understanding its mechanics, and then they know what they do. Because that sounds pretty complex. Okay, so that was about markets, and now we will go to trade, and we are almost at the very end. So, trade. Simply put, trade is the movement of goods between markets. Goods are purchased in one market and sold in another, either to generate profit or to alleviate shortages by supplying a destination market with resources it otherwise struggles to access. And here we have Constantinople market, which is probably Constantinople, but in Turkish or Ottomanish. Sounds stupid, I know. And here we have current trades. Of course, it doesn't say much because I don't understand what it means. So, yeah, we can close it. A list of active trades out of the Constantine market as Ottomans in 1419. So that's like almost 100 years in the game, 80-ish. Trade profit in Europa Universalis 5 is determined by the price gap between markets. The difference between what a good sells for in the exporting market and what it can fetch in the importing one. From this margin, the maintenance costs of conducting the trade are subtracted. Distance between the two markets, along with any tolls encountered along the route, will steadily erode profits, making efficient routes and favorable conditions essential for a thriving trade network. Okay, so there's another aspect you have to deal with, not only your own market, but also with the neighboring markets and see how well you can perform that trade. That's pretty huge. So what we have here, town of Helsingor, Kronborg in Helsingor, maritime presence, trade advantage for defense, blah blah blah. What is it? The Kronborg castle acts as a sound toll, taxing all the trade that flows through Öresund. Oh, that's even such mechanic. Wow, that's awesome. So now it really matters to hold such locations like Helsingborg or Helsingborg, basically, or Helsingor as well. I mean, here is Helsingor and here is Helsingborg. So that's quite vital, like Constantinople or the Gibraltar as well. They are meaningful right now. The question is how much you can actually earn from it, but from historical point of view or real world point of view, you could technically earn a lot just by allowing ships to sail through those places. That's huge. I hope it works well because I'm sorry, that looks very, very promising. As mentioned earlier, in this developer diary, not all raw materials are naturally extractable or producible in every market. Not every market will have gold, silver, copper, mercury, or gems. Not every market will be able to produce lacquerware. Lacquerware? Oh my lord. No, you know what? I have to find out what it means. I mean, how to pronounce it. La C Q E R where. Oh my god. Okay. Lacquerware. Lacquerware. Okay. Fair enough. Now I know how to pronounce it. Or porcelain. Trade will be the only tool at your disposal to relieve the demands of the goods you do not have access to. Unfortunately, that's true. Also, well, there's always colonization possible. But it's still trade, right? If you want to bring something from colonies. Without trade, many of your buildings and pubs will suffer. Waiving whether it's worth bringing in access to goods, even if it's at a loss, is another strategic decision to be made while playing Europa Universalis 5. a decision you may see yourself doing more than not. Within any active market, every nation with influence competes for the most favorable trades through their trade advantage. Nations with the highest trade advantage secure first access to goods to export out of the market, while those with little trade advantage are left with the scraps. Trade advantage can be increased by investing in buildings like marketplaces, strengthening maritime presence, or controlling more locations within the market. All right, fair enough. That's everything is uh, pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna say it's simple. It's definitely a complex system, but that developer diary is written really well. So let's see what's next. Here we have trade advantage of Vijayanagar in the Vijayanagar market in 1580. Right. Once established in the market, nations can engage in trade according to their trade capacity, representing the volume of goods they are able to import and export. More trade capacity, the more trades in and out of a given market. This can be increased with buildings, advances, and estate privileges. So yeah, here we have multiple informations, multiple. We have trade capacity in that province, location, whatever, and we have basic information what it generates that trade capacity. So we have marketplace, merchants, blah blah blah. Basically everything related with trade. Not all markets are accessible. Whether a market can trade from one market to another is determined by trade range. Trade range is the maximum distance at which a country can conduct trade between two markets, calculated from their respective market centers. As long as a market has trade capacity, it will be able to trade with all markets within its trade range. Trade range can be increased through advances, laws, estate privileges, and government reforms. That's pretty simple. Transportation code, government reform. Establish a fixed system of transportation fees for goods to encourage the exportation of valuable goods. All right. Transportation code, government reform, one of the many ways to increase trade range. Build gravel road costs, build paved road costs, build modern road costs, build railroad costs. Wow, there's multiple options. I mean, it all depends on the age we are in. So, but it's still cool that we can discern different type of roads. Cool. That looks very promising. Okay, in Europa Universalis 5, trade is not conducted solely by nations. The burgher class also engages in independent trade, moving goods to alleviate shortages within their own locations. The scale of this activity grows with the size of your burgher population and can be further expanded through the state privilege burgher trade monopolies. However, granting this privilege comes at a cost, as it reduces your nation's own trade capacity in exchange for greater burgher-driven commerce. So, basically, is that possible that we can trade as a nation, but also we have to keep in mind that they are estates, I mean, in that case, burgher, which can also trade by their own. So we always have to keep that in mind, that there is not only the nationwide trade, but also the inner trade by our populace, and we have to watch out not to kill that, because actually maybe we can earn even more from that type of trade. Who knows? That's something to analyze during the game. Keep an eye on it. Of course, this is another layer of complexity, but I like that. I really like that. I hope it's well balanced. It's not like it's something you can actually forget and never look at it. I hope it's different, but we'll see. We have 27th of October, so how many days? 9 days left, right? 4 plus. No, I'm sorry. 8 days left. Cool. Trade monopolies, estate privilege increases burgher trades at the cost of nationwide trade capacity. Fair enough. And the last paragraph, the economic system of Europa Universalis 5 are designed to be dynamic, interconnected, and deeply strategic. From the resources extracted by laborers and shaped by geography, to the buildings that transform locations into centers of prosperity and the markets that bind nations together in trade and rivalry. Every decision you make influences the flow of goods and the fortunes of your people. Mastering the balance between production, markets, and trade is not just about wealth. It is about power, influence, and the ability to shape the ambitious destiny of your empire. Well, looks very promising to me. Highly complex, definitely, uh, but also it might be extremely rewarding. I can imagine that people will play just for the markets, so kind of like market conquest world or market Europe. I mean, market European conquest. Oh, that's the proper word. So yeah, I can imagine that. Also, I can imagine some type of trade wars, market wars. I mean, that's cool. Even if you wage just a classic war, I mean, in terms of military, you can still affect the enemy's market. And imagine that you can destroy it, undermining its economy. So your military can easily win on the battlefield because your enemy doesn't have enough resources to upkeep the army, to create new regiments, to equip them, and so on. That's cool. That opens another path of playing that game, and that's extremely interesting. Question is about how it's balanced because on paper it looks nice. It looks like the real world simulation. But we will see how that really plays out in the game itself. Because I mean this might be two different worlds, so hard to judge right now just by reading that the developer diary. But either way, I have 26 minutes on my stopwatch. I hope you like it, and hopefully see you in the next one where I will, well, I don't know, I will select one of the developer diaries or maybe some tint of flavor about Prussian Brandenburg or France or Great Britain. We will see. So for today and for that developer diary, that's it. Once again, thank you very much and see you next time. Goodbye.